produce from Simplifai, whether it's product or services, are being designed by me. So as a visionary technologist, I tend to look at the trend and trying to adapt to the trend that we are about to see and how we can capitalize on the opportunities that comes from these technology advancements. So my background is from UCLA in Los Angeles with a computer science and engineering background, and with almost 20 years in experience in building B2B software. My expertise is on the CRM and AI systems. So today we'll be talking a bit about how emerging technologies can help banks to better deal with their operations. So if we're looking at today's market, whether it is within the bank or any other industries, we are facing higher expectations and tougher competitions. Everyone who has been receiving a very good service somewhere, whether it is from Uber or from Yelp or from any of those, their experience will then be carried on and became their benchmark, which then would apply to all of the services that they will be receiving. So if I could get a car to drive me somewhere within 5 minutes, or maybe sometimes even less, half a minute, why am I having to wait a day or two to get my response from the bank? And that is what's going to be driving the development forward. Banks would have to do something smart with their operations in order to catch up to the expectations and demand by the customers, whether it is on speed, availability, and on quality. But then on top of all of that, as we all know, the reason why I'm sitting in my office today and everyone is sitting at home to participate in this conference is that times have changed. We're now facing a pandemic crisis, if we might call it, that is forcing us to change the way we work in addition. It is challenging nonetheless, but it also gives opportunity to some of the vendors, competitors who might be positioning themselves in a very good way. So Simplifai is one of those companies. We have actually enjoyed a very good ride since the pandemic have started because of the need of automating their operations. Once you find half of your team being forced to be working from home or maybe not even showing up to work because of they're not feeling well, then you will need some sort of a technology to bridge the gap of productivity. So we're based in Oslo, in Norway, but we have a very large development center in India, which is now getting more than 60 employees. Overall, we're 100 employees. We're a verified Microsoft partner that is teaming up together with us to go and tap into the markets where they see that this technology can find useful. So if we were to put into a Gartner Magic Quadrant, we definitely would have been somewhere within the intelligent process automation and also within AI in the NLU part, the ability to interpret language. So that's what we're mostly working with is the natural language processing, the free text, and we're using that to apply to the automation in customer service, in accounting, in most of the job functions that requires communication with clients. So our flagship product is email bot. On top of that, we have also chatbot and document bot that processes the different kinds of inquiries. And we would be able to provide the product and services in a much quicker manner, which I'll get back into in this presentation. So this is our pledge to all of our clients. We believe that with our technologies, the way we have set it up, we're able to provide up to 90% of automation on repetitive works, whether it is inquiries that comes in all the time, forms that you have to deal with, or any of the tasks that are recurring and repetitive. And we can do so within a month. And that we have verified with many of our customers already. And because of this small project and this huge effect, we believe that the investment will give you the payback well within 6 months. Most of our cases, the ROI is within 3 to 4 months, but we don't have a case where after 6 months, the gain still is less than the investment. And this is what we make. We make digital employees in a way that employees could not just as an assistant to help an employee, but it can function independently. It can be a reliable team member to the team, and it can also independently perform tasks that to the same level of any employees that are working together with it. A bit under the hood, We believe that any employees are using three elements of the work on a daily work on a workday, whether it is on the interaction, understanding, receiving instructions or inquiries from customers, colleagues, or vendors. You have to read, understand it, and from that information, you make the decision on what this is about. What do I need to do about it? Do I approve or reject it? And once you have decided on the process that applies to this inquiry, you will then go ahead and perform the necessary action. So a digital employee is mimicking these three elements of an employee's workday and build standardized components that allows any businesses to put them together, chain them together into a process that reflects on the best practice within any banks or any companies, customers that we have. Look at the overall solution. What we are basically applying our digital employee to is a generic process that is as follows. You would use the digital employee to receive the inquiries, whether it is to monitor a mailbox, monitor a ticketing system on Zendesk or CRM systems. You would then interpret the content, classify the inquiry, extract the information from the inquiry, and then you will go ahead and register the data, update the records if necessary, or even archive the documents according to the type of document and the customer. And then you will produce the answer to the customer. Thank you for your loan application for this amount. We have now sent it to this customer service representative to process it for you. And if you want to contact us in the future, use this case number as a reference. It can understand the email to the extent that it would not feel like a standard machine reply. So with this approach, we have a lot of customers who would find this approach useful. And we do have bank and insurance company as our main strategic focus, as well as we have most customers from that field. But we have also customers from other different types of industries, which have the similar needs, but not exactly in the bank and finance. And we also have recently landed our first big contract in India with Shadi.com, which also are utilizing this approach to handle customer inquiries. And we have a sales partner first approach because we would like to reach out to as many customers as possible. The technology is neutral with language. And so we have signed a few strategic deals with partners across different regions in the globe so that we can make this available to as many as possible quicker. I would also spend some minutes on explaining one of our reference case in an insurance claim industry. We have a customer who wants to grow their businesses within the next 3 years. And they're expecting somewhere between 30 to 50% growth. And they would understand that if they were growing organically, they would need to hire the employees at the same ratio as the growth. And that in Norway is very difficult. So what happens is they would like to think of other ways and use technology to bridge the productivity gap. And so they went with us. And within 3 months, we have built them a digital employee that was there to handle the claims, reading the incoming email, understanding about the case, sort it, and archive the necessary the documents that are to be processed. And it turns out that it was not a 30 to 50% growth, as their businesses has grown faster than expected. So they practically have doubled their business over the next 2 years. And with that, they have managed to handle the extra workload without hiring a single employee. And instead, all the extra workload has went on and processed by the digital employee, which as of today is equivalent to more than 6 employees in service. So 100% of the emails are being read. 80% of them never touched anybody. The remaining 20% is either the information cannot be found or they needed to have a second look at the inquiry. But overall, only a fraction of the existing workload is now available for the team. And the rest is being handled automatically. But if we were to look at bank, how can we make the case also relevant for banks? Now, if we were to looking at the landscape of what kind of inquiries are coming into the banks from the customers, there you have account related, you have loan related, you have card related. and sometimes even payment across the border, etc. And so although it seems like there's a lot of different categories, but you can also expect that the incoming inquiries, they're very repetitive. I wonder why the account is the way it is, why I was expecting there should be 1 lakh more in the account, for example, or I would like to check on the status of my loan, whether for my home, my car, etc. And or credit card related issues. My card was stolen, I lost my card, I like to have more credit, etc. So expecting these inquiries coming in, there should be a way to train a bot to understand these inquiries, and to a very high extent, for some of the trivial tasks, to be able to handle them automatically, whether it's to create the savings account or to transfer the amount from one to another, or give the status of the loan applications, etc. And some of the research that we have done tells us that this is an approximate breakdown by customer service employees. More than half of their time is spent on answering emails, whether it's from the emails or from the portal or apps incoming inquiries. And then, of course, punching in the data 20% of the time. That's 75% of a workday, which is being gone to tasks that we believe can be automated using our digital employee. So what we propose is the same solution for the same process, except it will be adapted to the inquiry specific for banks, as well as the bank systems that needs to be made, that needs to be integrated to, using the integration that is needed. So we have named our customer service coordinator, Cathy, which based on the same modules that I have presented, the email bot, the decision engine, the API or the RPA connections with the backend systems, with the ability to receive, interpret of the inquiries and decide what to do and act upon it. So receiving inquiries, interpret the content, using the rules that has been predefined based on the business rules within the bank, categorize them, and then you would need to either forward the inquiry to the case processor or to simply reply to the sender after performing the necessary task of registration and archiving. And from there on, if we were just to assume, let's say 80%, which is some of the very, very average case of ours with our customers in terms of savings, we would still believe that we can together save half of the workday of the employees on a very conservative guesstimates. Now, we believe that if we can actually answer the email faster, there will be fewer phone calls, because people call usually after the email doesn't get through or the inquiries are not being responded quick enough. But overall, we believe that if we can automate a large chunk of the inquiries that comes in by processing them using digital employees, we would be able to eliminate a lot of time that are being spent by the employees, and they can either spend the time on calling customers, doing customer care, or if needed, there might be call lists to sell a certain products, etc., and be more proactive overall in the customer service actions. All of that we have been explained so far is being done by a tool that we have named Simplifai Studio. This is the tool that we use to train a digital employee to, number one, understanding what the inquiries is about. What you see is a tool that does not require technical skill sets. This is a tool which is built for business users, for customer service representatives, customer service leaders, who understands what the email is about and are able to mark the email like they would be reading manually and submit it to the bot so that the bot would be able to read the email the same way as the person would have. And then you would also be using this tool to cascade on the process that is needed, the task to be carried out for given incoming inquiries. So for accounts, maybe you need to register information in the bank systems. And then if they're lacking some of the information, you reply and asking for the information that is lacking. Or if some of the cases which is a bit obscure, you would forward it to a colleague. But all of these actions can be built using our action flow that is built within the Simplifai Studio. So you will be able to understand the email by training. You will be able to build the decision, the business logic, as well as the action sequence using the Simplifai Studio together. So when it comes to how does the digital employee work with the world around it, we expect that there will be many different ways the inquiries can come in, whether it is any sort of a mail or any sort of web portal that would submit the inquiry directly to some of the CRM or ticketing systems. No problem. We can integrate with all of them. And in addition, on the back end, you would normally, for banks, would have a CRM system to maintain the customer relations, as well as some sort of a mainframe systems, account processing card systems. All of these can also be integrated with the digital employee. So it would be performing the same task as an employee next to him, and it would also be able to do it with a much more predictable quality. Now, we're not saying it is 100%, but it is very important for the bot to know when it does know, and it would also be very important for the bot to understand when it doesn't understand what is coming, so that they can forward the inquiries that they're not able to process to employees for manual processing. In addition, it is also very important that there is some sort of a dashboard to explain to the users, the managers, of how well the bot has been performing the tasks that has been given. And even more important, to be able to understand the traffic. Some of the inquiries are definitely seasonal, and we will also be able to see a little bit about the breakdown of the task. What kind of inquiries are coming in most, and what time of the year, and what are some of the tasks that the bot have recognized but just hasn't been trained or built to process, and that allows the further development training of the bot so that it can do a lot more than what it is first set out to do. So now I would like to give a little bit of a sneak peek to the Simplifai Studio. So within the bank segment, we have also pre-built a few of the bots that allows the customers to not having to train every single bot from scratch. Of course, for a given bank or insurance company, the inquiries that comes in are quite similar from one bank to another, from our insurance company to another. So what you have here is an email that has been sent in as a training data, which we have marked the information, whether it is the name of the insurer, the address, the amount. And by reading this email, it has also been marked that it is a claim case, and it is about the property and home insurance. So as the start of the training, of course, none of these emails were understood by the bot. And then a person would be manually marking information by dragging the mouse over and press the necessary information that it needs to be captured. Whether it is the address, amount, or the name, or what kind of inquiry is about. Yes, it is about property home insurance, but is it about a claim, an inquiry, or a new or renewal of policies? It can understand the email to that extent. For example, this is, for example, an email that you would then be drawing. And from there on, you would be able to process whether you need to register this on the CRM or you need to direct it to the right case processor. A lot can be done based on this level of understanding. The bots later on will then be able to, if I may just go into another email. All of these things can be done, and then it will be analyzed by the bot once it has started to understand what it is about. And then from there on, you will be able to go to the action page where you can start building the flow for each type of the inquiry, whether it is a motor insurance, health insurance, property home insurance, or more importantly, if the bot doesn't understand, it could be a spam, it could be advertisement somewhere, it could have been an email that is about a complaint, or it might even be a private email that shouldn't be processed. All of it that ended up here, you can define either no action, leave it in the inbox, somebody else will take care of it, or you would forward the email to the manager, for example, or move to a folder with him. So there's a lot of things that can be done using this action flow. The decision that needs to be made, whether it contains where it is about the claim, then it would be processing. They make sure that the amount and the policy number is there, and then it will go ahead and do the process. If not, it will be replying to the customer asking, okay, I need to have these two informations before I can process your claim, for example. So components are the API connections that we have defined, and these can also be done without using programming. And that for us is making sure that any of our tasks, any of the actions that needs to be done within the studio can be done without technical knowledge, without anyone who have to have an IT or data science competence. These can be done by any user who have the basic understanding of what the inquiries is about in order to train a bot, and some of the basic understanding of the different values that is needed in order to process a claim. So this is one of the most revolutionary ways for us to handle different kinds of inquiries, and to train it and make it available to as many as possible. And it also lowered the threshold for any businesses to utilize such a tool. So a bit of going forward also, if anyone finds this interesting and would like to try it on one of the business areas where you have a lot of employees doing the same type of work day after day after day, we're able to help you and get you a proof of concept up and running within 4 weeks. And that's the first week. It will go into the functional specification, understanding what the bot needs to do, understanding what the inquiries needs to be understood. And then it will go in through a 2 weeks training sessions where the bot will then be receiving the incoming inquiries, and the AI trainers will be marking them one by one. And then it will be going through testing, user acceptance test, launch, and then the pilot period can start. We've done it for several customers within both in India and in different parts of Europe, and we have achieved very good results based on this. So as far as the training data is concerned, we need as little as 100 to get started. If you with 100 examples, we can get to 50 to 60% accuracy. But if we get past 1,000, we will be above 80%. And if we have 2,000 to 5,000, it would be well over 90% accuracy. So this is the amount of training data. And I believe from India's perspective, gathering 2,000 to 5,000 training examples would not be difficult, consider the amount of volume that is with the customer inquiries in India. So that's basically the presentation.
Yeah.
And I would like to say thank you for having me here, and thank you for your time.
Most welcome, most welcome. Thanks so much, Erik.
Yes.